Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the latest edition of the Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar Podcast. I'm your host, Jacob Elyachar, the chief content producer and writer of jakestake.com, a pop culture entertainment news website. Now, before we get started today, please, if you're watching us on YouTube, please hit the thumbs up button on this interview and please subscribe to my channel. If you're listening to any of our audio platforms, please give us a 5-star rating and a streaming and stream it, and please give us download this episode. Anyway, today I'm very excited to welcome this incredible actor. He's a guest star on 911 Lone Star. He guest starred in Lucifer. He also is the actor, writer, producer, and director of the short film The Fall. And this fall, actually, he will be playing Calian on CW's Walker Independent. So please help me welcome Justin Johnson Cortez to the podcast.
Thank you, Jacob. Appreciate that, man.
You're so welcome, Justin. It's so nice to meet you.
Yeah, thank you for having me, man. I really appreciate it. It's great to be here, getting settled in here in Santa Fe. So this was a nice little time out from getting my home set up.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that we were able to take time out of your schedule to do this. So thank you so much, because the show is very exciting because it's part of the Walker Texas Rangers franchise.
Yeah, no, it's a great thing to be a part of. It's a spin-off of Walker, which is on CW right now. I think they're on their season 3, going into season 3. And that show is great. If you haven't checked that out, please do. Great cast, great people making that show. And this is a prequel to that. So it's set in, 1870s. It's a Western, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Awesome. We'll get back on that later. But however, we got to talk about your origin story. So when did you get interested in performing, and how did that passion evolve and desire to pursue a career in the entertainment industry?
Yeah, that was, I'd never had a plan to do that, actually. I always wanted to do lots of things, I guess. I love movies, TV growing up. Obviously, a lot of us do. My mom says I was always in front of the TV acting everything out. But growing up, I wanted to do, I wanted to be a baseball player when I was younger. And then I wanted to have my own clothing company. And then I wanted to be a firefighter. I didn't know what I wanted to do, is basically the moral of the story. But my wife actually got me into it. She one day said I should be a model, which was funny to hear. And I had no idea what she meant or how that happened. And she just took some pictures of me and sent them into these modeling agencies, and they signed me. And I wasn't, modeling wasn't always my thing. I felt a little awkward doing it, kind of like a baby giraffe or something. I don't know. I just never really got my feet under me. But they sent me on a commercial audition, and I had to act, and I was terrified. And I also caught the bug though. So after that, I just dove in, started going to acting classes, figuring out how to audition for short films, student films, anything that I could do. And I just went to everything and anything I got. And I did a lot of really bad projects, and it was all process though, man. It was all learning, and just slowly made my way.
And that's incredible that you just got your start from modeling and then moved your way over to acting. So that's still incredible.
Yeah, and when I say modeling, I can't really ever say I actually did do that. I wasn't very successful. It just I think I was very awkward in the room, so I don't think it really panned out for me too well. But yeah, I learned to love acting. It was just kind of this thing that made me very uncomfortable and nervous, and I kind of like that. It's kind of like an adrenaline junkie chases that. I guess I was chasing that, that uncomfortable feeling and the fear of being in front of people. And I never when I first started, I never imagined that this is what it would become. But yeah, as I did it more, I just fell in love with it more and more, and I just didn't want to do anything else.
Awesome. So but along the way, you must have encountered several different challenges, or some as you continue your career in the entertainment industry. So what were some of the challenges that you faced, and how did you overcome those obstacles?
Yeah, no, I tell most people, you meet some people like, oh, that sounds fun, and I'm glad nobody ever told me this, but I tell people unless you really it's a passion, you're going to hit a lot of obstacles. You're going to hit a lot of walls. You're going to hear a lot of no's. So you really have to have your heart in it for a deeper purpose. It can't be about, for me anyway, it couldn't be about the money. It couldn't be about anything like that. I just felt like I needed to do it. And if somebody would have told me ahead of time how hard it would have been, I probably maybe wouldn't have tried it. So I'm glad nobody did. Um, but it's just, you're in LA, you're going to all these auditions, you're seeing people that look like you, and sometimes they don't look like you. You're going in these rooms and you're hearing people do their audition, and it's just like the environment can make you very insecure if you're not, you don't have the right energy around you, the right people around you lifting you up. I was lucky enough to have a great support system. My wife is incredible. She's been there with me along every step of the way. I honestly couldn't do without her. If it weren't for her, I can't say that I would have stuck it out. It was kind of a dream of ours together, just kind of this thing that grew together, and we would talk about it and dream about it. But yeah, you just get a lot of no's. You meet a lot of not so great people, and if you're not careful, they could lead you down the wrong path, and you can let that stuff get to you, and it gets in your head. And I spent a long time. I'm Native, I'm Hispanic, and I'm also Irish. I spent a long time not wanting to kind of be in my own skin. Actually, I thought, I'd go out on these auditions, and they would send me in for different roles. And at that time, it was a lot of a lot of white roles, for lack of a better term. And I'm mixed, so I'd go out, but I didn't look like any of those guys. So I actually spent a long time not going in the sun, not wanting to get darker. It was just like this weird mental thing that kind of overcame me. I tried to conform to something in order to please, and it wasn't. It took me a long time to learn, like, you can't do that. You just got to be yourself. You gotta do what's right here, and just create from a place of joy, as opposed to like trying to fit this box that you may think that they're trying to put you in. So yeah, that was always a struggle, just trying to balance that. It's key. Like I said, you have to have a great support system. You have to have people who are lifting you up, and you got to surround yourself with that, or else this industry, it could kind of tear you down.
Absolutely. And this industry has been very difficult to navigate, no matter if you're in the media or behind the camera, or if you're
Hmm.
in front of the camera. And the thing is, I'm glad that the thing is, I'm glad you didn't conform, because the thing is, we're all unique individuals. And if we're all the same thing, we're all these squares and circles.
Yep. Yeah. No, absolutely, man. And it's just like, but it's so hard, especially today. I'm really glad that when I was first starting out, social media is a great place, and I think there's a lot of really good being done through it. But there's a side of that could really get into your head, and you start to compare yourself and compare other people's lives. And I feel fortunate that wasn't as active when I first started, because I really do feel like I probably would have. I don't know if I would have been strong enough to see what people were doing, and not get beat up on my own side, not beat myself down. Um, but yeah, that's just another challenge you have to learn to navigate being in this industry. Is you're going to see people's successes, and when you feel the joy for the people you see around you succeeding, that always like just drives you more. I've felt both ways, and it's an ugly side to be on the other side, when you're like, envious or jealous about what other people may have, and it never is productive. It's always better to just, your path is your path. You can't control that in your time. All you can do is put the work into it. And, it's
Amen
gonna
to
lead
that, Justin.
it's gonna lead
Amen to
somewhere.
that. Because the thing is, I actually felt those feelings at times, because there's been podcasters who I'm admirers of and met friends of, and I love seeing all their successes. But like, there's times like saying, "Wait a minute, maybe I should
Hmm.
have done that." But however, at the same time, like you said, we're all on our journey, and
Hmm.
the thing is, if I compare, and sometimes the grass isn't greener on the other side. That's number one. And number two, some of my heroes like Regis Philbin and Barbara Walters were in their 80s when they retired. I want to be on their path and do some kind of work with media and entertainment up until I'm 80 or 90.
Yeah.
God help me.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's a dream, doing what you love until you can't do it anymore. And yeah, I feel fortunate to have a job currently, and I'm going to continue to work so I could hopefully keep doing what I love until I'm 80 or 90 years old. And yeah, you just kind of go with it, man. You never know where it's going to lead, so I just try to enjoy it along the way.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's get back on track and let's talk about before. So you start out your career landing guest starring roles on 911, Lone Star, and Lucifer. So how did those experiences help you grow as an actor?
Well, just being on set is always such an experience that you could just learn so much from. I love being on set. To this day, I just love being around everything. I love showing up when they're building sets. I love seeing all the work that goes into it. I went to art school for a little while, so I just appreciate film and television for the massive like art projects that they are. There's just so much comes together. You got music, you got video, you got visual arts. It's like they're dressing, they're building, they're doing so much work. You got costumes, it's just blows my mind when you could get all these different things together. How many people it takes to put this thing together, and it's a lot of work. And the fact that it pans out, you get a product out of it is just so impressive to me. So I eat it up, and I always have. So anytime I was able to be on set, I did background work as well. Like I would just show up and do background work on different shows. I can't even tell you them now, but I have no lines. I just be in the background pretending to talk to somebody. You can't make any noise, but it has to look like you're in conversation. And I appreciated all those steps. I learned so much from all of that. It could get hard when you're just out there doing that and you're seeing people act and that's what you want to do. But I try to learn from everything I do. And yeah, so being on 911 Lone Star, uh, it was just awesome to get to see people work. And I always have the goal of being a series regular, and that was a dream. So just kind of seeing where they're at and what they're doing, and seeing them do their thing, and just kind of puts you on your path. You just keep thinking like, all right, this is good. This is another step. This is another step forward, and that's just how I see it. Whether it's a co-star, guest star, it's just another step forward, man. It's all leading somewhere. And yeah, again, I admire it from so many aspects, not just the acting. I admire the producing, the directing, the camera work, everything. It's amazing to be around. It's not for
Same with
everybody.
me. I love the behind the scenes stuff. It's so much fun, and also looking around, like seeing the sets and like being engulfed behind it. So I love every single minute of it.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so let's talk more about Walker Independence. So how did you? So first of all, what attracted you to this project?
Well, honestly, like I said, I'm Native American. I'm Yaqui, but Calian in the show, he's Apache. So, you know, I was always a little bit skeptical to do a period piece, just because I didn't want it to be the same old story, the same old Indian and the cowboy story. I didn't want to be like this sideline character, this character that you could kind of forget about. I wanted it, if we're gonna do it, I wanted the Indian to be substantial, I guess, and I wanted to be portrayed accurately as we can and just respectfully. And I wasn't sure what the plan was. And I don't speak my native language. You get that question a lot being a native actor is, oh, can you speak your language? And a lot of times there are producers out there that kind of expect Indians to speak every language. It just doesn't make any sense. It's like uh, they're like, oh well, you could speak Navajo, right? And you're like, well, I'm not. That's not even my tribe, and no, I can't speak that. But I think they just expect it a little bit. Some people, and there are great producers out there who don't. But so coming into this, they asked if we could speak our language, and if so, to do it on tape for the audition. And I just let them know, like, hey, I don't speak my language. And you know a lot of other native actors out there, including myself, our languages weren't passed down to us for many different reasons. And I just asked that they would be, have that compassion and respect going forward, whether they wanted to read me again or another actor. um, and then they gave me a call and they talked about it. And after speaking with them, I knew that they wanted to do this right with this character, and they wanted to approach it with respect. and also just not make him this, expendable piece of the plot. I mean, I always grew up watching westerns wanting to be the cowboy because they had a lot of fun, and and they, I tell people they had all the action, they got all the girls, and I was a little kid and I was like, man, I want to be the cowboy. And it's really cool because I want to do something different here. I want kids of the younger generation growing up saying, I want to be Calian, I want to be the Indian. I want to have that bow. I want to do that, ride that horse like him. And so that's really special to me. So that's kind of what I hope to do here. And yeah, Calian, he's a great character, man. So to answer the question, I wasn't immediately, I guess I wasn't all in immediately. I was drawn to it just because it's interesting and westerns just seem so much fun. But I was skeptical. I was a little hesitant. But after meeting the team, it was great. After getting to know them and knowing where their head was at, it kind of, I was all in.
And that's incredible because I'm so glad they respected your boundaries and they respected you and your ability, your passion for this character to make this request happen. So that's incredible. So your character, so Callan is going to be a very central character as he helps Abby Walker deliver her independence. So could you tease us of what this relationship as the show goes forward between Abby and Callan?
I'll tell you a little. I'll tell you as much as I can. You guys got to stick around and watch. But yeah, Calian. So Calian's a scout. He was a scout for the U.S. Cavalry, so he's been around. He's been around a bit, and at this time in history, the West is getting settlers are coming, and the world that natives knew, the Indians knew at the time, it's changing a lot. And Calian, because he is familiar with it, being a scout, he is kind of curious about this town of Independence. This town he's not as opposed to it, I guess you would say. He's cautious, but he's curious. And he comes across somebody, and he kind of leads her into town, shows her where to go. But he witnessed what happened to her, so he feels a certain responsibility there, I guess, and he wants to help her as much as he can. And again, I'm being so careful here because I don't want to give anything away. But it's going to be a really fun ride. I think it's going to be something that for the younger generation that never seen westerns, they're uninterested in them. I think this is going to be a great introduction. Kind of show them that side of this, historically massive part of film history and television history. Westerns have been around for so long, and for this younger generation that may not have seen them, I think this is a great introduction. It's going to be exciting and stuff for them. So yeah, it's going to have a lot of drama, but a lot of action as well. I get to do some fun stuff. I really want you guys to stick around. I can't tell you that much. I feel bad because I can't tell you that much.
I'll definitely keep an eye on that because the thing is with our generation, it feels like that, hey, dude, even though I was in a dude ranch and Walker, Texas Ranger, we were like the tail end of that.
Mhm.
There's no strong Westerns for our generation except for like Everwood
Mhm.
or even when there was, I remember the TBS series that Dan Radcliffe guest starred in. They did a series, Oregon Trail
Oh yeah,
season.
yeah, yeah. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, and that's the only thing that I ever saw with westerns from that our generation has only saw. So I'm just looking forward to see what you and the cast of Walker Independence do this fall.
Yeah, and like I said, one of my goals going in was that kids would be able to look at Calian and be excited about him, and based off the stuff we're going to get into, I think we have a good chance that we're gonna give some of those people something to be excited about when it comes to Calian. He's a great character, but everyone is. You got Hoyt, you got Abby, you got uh, I keep mixing up cast names with character names. You got Kai, you got Augustus and Tom and Kate, and there's just so much diversity in so many different ways, not just ethnically, but uh, you know, personality wise. There's just so much fun here. There's so much depth as well, and I think people are I really hope people stick around to see it, because I think they'll fall in love with these people, this cast. I already fall in love with them, the cast members, and the more I read the scripts, I love each of these characters for their own reasons. Um, and yeah, I think it's going to be um, a great way that we kind of bring westerns to more people again.
Awesome. So let's leave the Westerns and head over because you also starred, created, produced, and directed your short film, The Fall. So can you please describe the film to my audience?
Yeah. So, how would I describe The Fall? So I made this film a few years ago, and it was in this Native Film Festival uh, called Skins Fest in LA, and we got to screen it there. And I was really happy that people got to see it. I made it for myself. It wasn't one of these things that I made hoping that it was going to get into lots of festivals and I was going to win awards or anything like that. I just, I wrote this story that I really kind of just felt drawn to, and I just wanted to go out there and make it. And it's about a father who's kind of struggling to maintain life with his two young girls after his wife has left due to drug addiction, and just him trying to navigate. It's like a day in the life. It literally takes place in one day of this family's life. And yeah, it's kind of told through a child's perspective, though. You don't leave the house. It's kind of like, I just wanted to go into something. When you're a kid, everything feels so big, everything feels so massive, and even your house could feel like this big place, even if it's very small. It could just feel like its own world. And so there was an aspect of that I really wanted to show. I was inspired by a few different film directors that I really like, who do kind of uh, these films that feel like you're watching people's real lives. So I hope that came across. I definitely wanted to feel like not a documentary, but kind of like a hybrid of some sort, like kind of getting a glimpse into something that maybe you shouldn't. But yeah, it's a sad story, but there's some heart in it. And yeah, so it's just this father struggling, and what it takes to be a parent. I'm a parent, so I know how hard it is. And it's difficult to do even with a really good partner. And so I can imagine how hard it is to do without a partner, or when your partner's struggling. And I told it through a male perspective, a single father, because that's what I know, because I'm a father. But I just know there's so many mothers out there that are having a really hard time doing it. And you know I always hope there's hope at the end. I feel like there always is. And I kind of wanted this film to end with a little bit of that. Even through the struggle, there's always hope.
Absolutely, absolutely. I gotta say, we gotta start winding down our conversation here.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
let's talk about social media. So what are your favorite social media channels?
Oh, okay. So I am really bad at social media. I kind of touched on it before. I have Instagram. I think it's just Justin Johnson Cortez on Instagram. Uh, that's the only one I use. I apologize. I don't have Twitter, and I have Snapchat. I don't have any of the other ones. That's all I got. Um,
I
so
I
you
don't do
could.
Snapchat anymore.
I don't really know. I just know that's one of them. But yeah, so Instagram is the only way I go, and that's where you can find me when I'm
Absolutely,
on it.
Instagram is amazing.
Yeah, yeah, it's good. And yeah, so that's where I'm at. So I try to be active on it. I'm not the best. I'll just try to get better. Show some people a glimpse into Walker Independence, and we'll post some cool stuff with Calian and the rest of the cast. And yeah, hopefully we'll be able to show you guys some fun stuff coming up here.
Awesome, awesome. So if you had any advice for actors who are trying to advance their career and to land those guest starring roles and to transition into recurring roles, what advice would you share with them?
Just keep working on it, man. Just keep working. The world's changed so much over the last couple of years. Self-taping is kind of the way it goes. So invest in what you can. And when it comes to self-taping, I'm not an advocate for having a whole production at my house. I don't. necessarily think that's needed. But you know, you could have a nice light to set up and a good reader and a backdrop. But yeah, make sure you're working on your craft and be inspired. Keep being inspired. You know, keep watching films, reading books, um, reading plays, watching plays, doing whatever you can to just continue to have that hunger and drive to go forward. And remember why you love it. You know, have fun with it, because if you're not having fun with it, then what's the point? You know.
Totally, totally. So you shared Instagram. We already know that Walker Independence is going to be on CW in the fall. But where can they find the fall?
I think the fall is on YouTube. I probably have a YouTube channel that maybe has like one video on it. I think I just put it up so if anybody ever wanted to see it, I could send them the link. So it might be under Justin Johnson Cortez YouTube, but it's the fall. Maybe you could throw it up on one of your websites. So I could find it and send it to you, and that way somebody could find it if they want to.
Absolutely. And that is a wonderful transition to what I'm about ready to do. So, guys, if you missed an episode of the Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar podcast, visit our Apple Podcast, Deezer, Google Podcasts, Podcast Addict, Spotify, and Spreaker channels. It's Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar, JACOB ELYACHAR. Now, are you on social media? Because I'm on social media too. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. It's Jacob Elyachar, JACOB ELYACHAR. And Justin, get this, 2022 is Jake's Take's 11th anniversary.
Very cool. Congratulations, man. That's huge.
Thank you so much, Justin. And guys, make sure, because this interview will be on jakes-shake.com, and it will take you to the link to the fall. And I might even put it in my YouTube Inscribe It page, so you can make sure you do that. Justin, it is a pleasure to talk. It was a pleasure talking with you. I'm very excited about the Walker Independence, and I wish you all the best. And I cannot wait to follow you on Instagram.
Thank you, Jacob. Appreciate your time, man. Yeah, don't forget to watch.
All right, I won't. And guys, thank you so much for taking time in your schedules to listen to this and to watch this. Until next time, have a great one, everybody. Goodbye.